Good morning guys, my name's Marissa and today I'm taking you through a homeschool day with me. Okay, so here is how I am going to lay out the video. Basically, I am just going to be filming as we go through our actual homeschool because I don't really want to be distracted during our lessons. That's my 1-year-old. I don't want to be distracted during lessons, so we're going to try and get that all done, and then at the end of the video I will sit down with you guys and just go over everything to explain bits that you guys may be a bit confused on. And if you like videos like this, then please like and subscribe. I make videos all about motherhood and homemaking, homeschooling, and all of that fun stuff. So with that, we are going to start our homeschool day. Should we get our pencils? Run and get the Lego and you can build some Lego while I read the scripture. Yes, it's you. Alright, so today we are going to be reading about Jesus and Pilate. So usually we start with scripture memory, but because we are in the weeks leading up to Easter, we have been following an Easter curriculum. So these lessons mean that we start with our scripture story. So usually my kids have to find an egg that has a little symbol that correlates with the story we're reading in the Bible that day. For whatever reason, I've been really slack with that. So I just get straight into reading the scripture verses for that day. Then I get my son to illustrate something about that story. So I ask him what he remembers, and usually he's pretty good at this. He gets to draw whatever comes to mind with the story, and then I ask him to tell me back what he remembers from the story, and then I will write that down for him because he doesn't know how to read or write as of yet. Pilate. They whipped Jesus back and told Pilate to kill him. John 14:6. Jesus answered, I am the way and the truth and the life. So with scripture memory, we actually follow the Charlotte Mason recommendation. So I do have a scripture memory box. I have found that way is more effective. I feel like having the words up for my son to see just distracts him, and he can't remember the scripture as well as if we were just to look at each other and then repeat back the scripture. So after we go through our scripture memory, he does do some copy work. The curriculum we're using has a little piece of the scripture there, and he gets to practice his handwriting. Picture study is probably one of my favorite lessons to do. I love hearing about my kids' thoughts when it comes to artwork, and they come up with really great and funny ideas. But this is a really special time because I get to know their thoughts on things, and it's really easy to do as well. Like, it doesn't take much brain work for myself. Because clouds are dark, like it's going to storm.
I think the jealous guys made the storm and tried to kill him with the storm.
I don't think that's what happened, but that's a good interpretation. Alright, now we got the story, and then we're going to make a cross. The tale of the 3 trees. Yeah. Alright. With our read alouds, I don't actually have any of the physical copies of the books that are recommended, and I'm fussy with the books anyway, so I just look it up online, and I find that is the most effective way to find good quality books because my local library just does not stack them. So after we do our little morning time, we get into more of the proper school work, if you get what I mean. So here we're doing math. We are currently using the Good and the Beautiful Language Arts level 1. It's a great level for my son and he really enjoys it.
50, 60, 70, 80.
Was given a big clock like the one to the right for her birthday. So point to the digital clock. 6, 7, 8.
No.
Yep. Go hop upstairs, have a break, and we'll yeah, we'll make some breakfast. Son, I want you to write that 8 again, please. Yes, so we need to put them on the corners. So I don't know if I mentioned this, but we are actually using the Treehouse Schoolhouse Expectant Easter curriculum, and the hands-on activities are really enjoyable. Every day it is different, and today we were making a cross using a piece of wood, some nails, and some yarn. My son really enjoyed this. It was different.
Kind of smash it.
No. Now we can keep that fire resurrection. Preheat the oven, So this term specifically, we have been doing a lot of baking. I reckon we bake 2, 3, sometimes even 4 times a week. Just really simple, easy recipes. And this one that we are making now is coconut macaroons with some little Easter eggs on top. And guys, they were really, really yummy and super simple. All we needed was shredded coconut, condensed milk, and vanilla, and then some little Easter eggs to put on top at the end. But we really enjoy this time. I think it's the easiest way to do technologies with little kids. They really enjoy the mixing. They obviously learn all their measurements and how to read the scales and things like that. And best of all, the whole family gets involved. So if you get overwhelmed with thinking about how to do technologies with your kids, honestly, baking is enough. They learn so much doing this. Yep, and mix it together. So folding is like this. Can I also say, if you are thinking about homeschooling, but you just don't know if you'll be able to handle it or if you have enough patience, I am and was exactly the same. I am pretty good with the system things with everything, organizing lessons and stuff like that. I really enjoy that part, but when it comes to actually running the lessons and having patience with my kids, it's really hard. But if I do say so myself, we've been doing this for a term now, and I have definitely improved in this area. It's really good me filming these things because I can actually see back in real time how I'm actually talking to my kids. And I guess you can see from this video that I'm quite short with them. I'm very firm, and I know, I get that. That's something that I'm trying to work on, but don't let that hold you back. God will give you grace and He will help you through this process. And so I just encourage you to step out in faith and give it a try, even if it's just for 1 year, because it's one of my favorite things I've ever done with my kids. For hers, all these. Oh no, remember the ants from an earlier lesson? Some ants are coming again. Language arts, or English as we call it here in Australia, is probably the most difficult, maybe not difficult, but the most concentration my son needs because he doesn't get it as naturally as he does with math. Now, everyone I followed recommended that you do the hard subjects first thing in the morning because that's when your brain is at its best. It's the most fresh. Now, when you have little kids with you, I find that this is not the case. I have to do language arts with my son at any time of the day where the kids are quiet. My 3-year-old is pretty good. She'll just sit there and watch and join in on the lesson really, but my 2-year-old and 1-year-old need to be quiet or need to be having a nap. The first thing in the morning just does not work for our family. So find what works with you. You ate them, so it's not enough. Okay, hey, the homeschool day is done. I think it's 2:45 right now, but we ended up wrapping everything up with our macarons at about 2:15. Now, today was a very boring homeschool day, not going to lie. The weeks leading up to Easter, we have been doing an Expectant Easter curriculum, you could say. It is by Treehouse Schoolhouse. I highly recommend. I have really been loving everything that is in the curriculum. It has definitely taught not only my kids, but also myself a lot about the Easter story and all about Resurrection Sunday. So it runs for 3 weeks, and basically this is how the daily plan looks. You're meant to start by finding a plastic Easter egg that has like a little toy or something in it that represents that day's lesson. For whatever reason, we haven't been doing that. I don't know why. I just ended up skipping that and we go straight into the scripture, but that's fine. It's been working for us. I would like to actually put in more effort because the kids do love finding those eggs. So that is the first thing we are meant to be doing for our school day. And then we go into our scripture reading, and then I try to get my kids to narrate back to me what I read in the scripture. But I have been doing some more research and study into Charlotte Mason, and they don't recommend that kids do that until they are 6 years old, and my son just turned 5 in December. Today I did actually ask him because I forgot that I'm trying not to ask him that, but from here on out I actually think I'm just going to read the story and then get him to draw a picture about the story after I have kind of reiterated the bullet points and the main key points in the story myself. So instead of getting him to tell me back what he heard, I'm just going to quickly summarize the story for him and get him to draw a picture, which is what he does. Then he basically repeats back to me what I told him, and I write it down underneath his illustration of that day's scripture verse. Then we go into scripture work. So at the moment we are learning John 14:6. We basically we do the like Emilia Reggio concept of I say it, we say it, and then he says it, and then yeah, that's how he ends up memorizing it. I find on average it takes him about a week to memorize a scripture depending how long it is, but he's actually very good with his memorization. I feel like most kindy age kids are. And then he does do copy work, so that obviously helps with his hand-eye coordination. He just looks at the verse and copies his letters, and that works as our handwriting time as well. I actually let him do as much or as little as he wants. Sometimes if it's just one word, I do try and encourage him to do a little bit more, at least like a line, but I'm not fussy with it. Like, I don't force him to sit there and do anything. And then we go into poetry. So we're meant to do poetry, but as you guys saw, we didn't do that until like the very last thing really. And then we had picture study. So I will show him a famous picture or painting of an artist. I'll ask him a few questions about the picture just to get him to analyze art and form an appreciation for that. And then I showed him the read aloud on YouTube, which you guys saw, and then that's when we did the cross woodwork thingy where he got to do a little bit of hammering and string some string around the cross himself. And then we also did our language arts and math, and then we did end up doing our technologies. Technologies is basically just figuring out how things work, and so this time we have been doing a lot of baking and cooking. My son also went into the pool with his dad, and so I guess that's like PE in a way, I don't know. But yeah, usually we do a lot of art and craft, a lot of sensory things like I mentioned before, but today was just not that day. And a day like this is actually very rare. I have a feeling that the rest of the week is going to be very like hands-on, a lot of activity things. But with that, we are probably going to take the kids for a nature walk later on this afternoon, but I wanted to wrap up this video because as you can see, I have some tidying up to do. I want to read my book and have some downtime before the babies wake up from their nap. So with that, if you guys have any questions regarding homeschooling or how we do things, anything about today as well, please let me know in the comments below, and I will be more than happy to either make a video on it or to just answer your question in the comments down there. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video.